Bryce. Here we go, chance we're going to send another team home. God, these guys grow up so fast, already leaving the home, getting out of here already. We're shedding tears left, right, and center.
I didn't even save up for their college tuition fund, so it is going to be an interesting battle. I think a little bit less extreme than the series we had earlier in terms of CDL points, but Boston towards the top, they've been on the decline. Minnesota Røkkr towards the bottom. They have certainly been working their way up, but obviously, losers bracket, if you're going home, not a fun place to be because so much Call of Duty, at least you want to have left to play.
It's a tough one. I actually got the bump to the guys from the York Subliners and they're saying, you know what, it's hard enough. It's Friday, man, come on. Either way, here's the maps and modes. Bocage to start things off. The Desert Siege, of course, for that searching story. Tuscan, Berlin, Tuscan, who knows? Will we go the distance?
I don't know if that would be the case, to be honest. I think Minnesota Røkkr actually managed to drop a pretty godlike map set the entire way through. Berlin Hardpoint is the only map where it's actually Boston Beach has a pretty clear-cut advantage, but otherwise, this is wonderful maps that's coming out for Minnesota. I mean, on Bocage with this roster, 4-1. They're 3-0 on Tuscan control. They're one of the teams that's actually been pretty solid at winning those offensive rounds, even for the Desert Siege since like the Pro-Am in Stage 3, 3-0 on that map, and Tuscan S&D is no different. So they have a phenomenal map record the entire way through, minus the map 4. So for Boston, it is honestly kind of tough to carve out a path to victory. They're just going to have to play at their absolute best.
I mean, it's going to be a true sweat fest from start to finish here, friends. Again, Røkkr have managed to win the coin toss. They're going to pick that Team A side. We will see how this all goes down. The desk said their share of things. Chances brought his own notes. The gut is telling me all sorts, ladies and gentlemen, but that might just be the delicious food we're having here in Toronto. For now, though, mate, this is going to be a tough one. Again, we've been saying goodbye to teams all day today. One more will fall here in this elimination bracket matchup. Røkkr have had a tough run of things, man. Of course, they had a fantastic look throughout the entire stage. Didn't drop a single series. We find themselves here on LAN in a nail-biting Game 5 against the LA Thieves. What went wrong, mate? What's going on?
Well, it was a search and destroy, right? So we talked about the fantastic map. We'll even mention a map like Desert Siege. Well, that is actually where they were pretty poor yesterday and got picked apart. I know Havok has been mentioned a few times as getting first blooded, but if you get those maps back, you can run it back, obviously talk over those mistakes and sort of get rid of those like first land match jitters, even something Scump was talking about of like, it is a little bit different once you're back in front of the crowd to get one under your belt. Well, Røkkr at least have that, so even if they faltered on some of the maps before, overall still strong. I sort of expect a bounce back, but of course, when I mentioned even just the words like path to victory for Boston, even if the record for Røkkr has been incredible on a Bocage hardpoint, it is still Capsidal that has that record. It is still guys like Nero that have the utter pop-off like level performance where they just all of a sudden transform into the best player in the game. Obviously, they just need to capture that lightning in a bottle, and hey, then you can get that dub.
Well, that man on your screen there, Nero, one of the most explosive players we've seen in the Vanguard season so far. But ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in. It is a Bocage to start the series off here. And again, sending one of these teams home. Let's get into this one. Hard point to start things off as we do. And again, the map record's chance they're close enough, but current form, man, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, again, though, that 5-4 for Minnesota Røkkr, who is a little bit different with previous rosters, 4-1 as of late. Now that they have a pretty strong SMG duo, they've been on a tear, and funnily enough, on this map, it is actually attached with the #1 overall KD, but admittedly, Capsidal not too far behind. I think he's number 3 or 4.
Well, let's see how things go off the rip. An interesting hit towards the riverside of the map. It's going to be seeing everyone fighting over mid-map control so far. Breach for the most time. Capsidal into the fight, he flies. This is co-partner in crime, Nero, during weekends inside a hut, but Havok comes through, cleans those boys up, no questions asked. We're going to take that hard point back for now, and we are still tussling for control at the top left-hand side of the minimap right now. That's P2, but for now, for Minnesota Røkkr, get himself a sweep at a time. Havok, do what we can on the inside of R.
And I like the positioning from Havok as well, right? Getting the cuts through P2, able to direct traffic pretty well, and I mean, granted, it's only 11 total seconds, but on P1, that ain't bad, and of course, now you see Priestahh trying to make moves over towards P2, showing off a little bit of trigger discipline. Turns out just to be trades around the point, well, gets shot in the back, and enough to take him down. Minnesota not able to flip, but with a very small edge going into new. Obviously, Breach looking to respond.
Yeah, Boston Breach, the white arrows on the minimap now, locking down the hard point number 2. Over the tanks we go. Pops open. Capsidal, great work now on the back line. Oh, can't take care of Priestahh as P-Dog bites back. It's a nice series so far. Looking things look from yesterday's performance as well. Zinni from the top rope though, guns a couple. Right back into the hard point you go. There's the lead change, Boston.
Yeah, good reads as well, right? Knowing that the spawn is coming in from Riverside, so knows he has to watch his back, and well, maybe not a fun position to be in, but hey, you're trying to collect the hill time until every single one of your teammates falls. And hey, nearly had the 180, but that is just trades on trades for Røkkr. Instantly there to break back in. And I mean, I'm not going to keep track, but already what, the third lead exchange we've had this game so far.
This is already looking to be a spicy one indeed. We're shaping up for a decent throwdown here on the cage, map 1. Kills going the way of the Havok and Standy duo so far. Stabber can't get any more as Boss and Breach dug in well and truly at the backside of Grand Mars. Now, the rest of Røkkr trying to make the entries now. Flush these players out of every single corner you can find, and so far, Standy doing a decent job. You still have to worry about those spawns as Nero, whoa, was that the little beginning of the explosion that he can be?
I mean, hey, he just picked up 3 and Priestahh already by himself, and if you got the automaton, you ain't sliding in to break that hill. It is not easy to do by yourself, so gotta wait for your teammates to come off respawn and the next go around for this attack. I mean, Standy, he's playing over towards outer like AS and D, gets a kill, but again, Røkkr haven't actually had any sort of pressure on this hill. Boston collected all of this time.
Yeah, these boys are having a good time in Granny so far, and that's a hard thing to say on this map. As Methodz from the backside. Typical spot to be in. This is a great contest out of Havok. Here comes the rest of Røkkr right on through the fight. Wallbangs are in. TJ with a pistol trying to stay alive as it's getting mixy indeed. But Standy will remain alive for now. Gets one other one with a pistol. Trades are bound and is back to back. It's a late break for Røkkr. They're going to get a couple of seconds here, but it's over the barn for next.
I mean, either way for Boston, that is pretty much as good as it can really get on that hill. That even though they lose the 10 seconds, you still get that rotation over towards New. Win a couple gunfights on the P2 side of the map, and sure, Standy's there for the trades, but just now has gotten towards the hill. Actually has players above him, and Boston actually a little bit of taking pressure off the actual hard point. And well, Røkkr taking advantage, Standy hanging out inside.
A couple of tags there on the head of Methodz as the rest of his teammates pick up those kills. Lead change again, and we're not going to keep track, friends, because it's only going to get bigger from here. 14 and 9 for Havok so far. Explosive start for him here on Røkkr. Is looking good as the time's still ticking in favor of Minnesota Røkkr. He's got eyes on next as well. I love this play, but we'll see if this one works out. Again, Boston spawning top left-hand side of the map. The P2 spawns not what they want. They're going to fight their way through that hill and over towards River for next.
Yeah, a very like strange barn hill, right? Boston not really a ton of pressure on the point early on, and then I think Røkkr might have just misread the spawns and I mean really open up the hill for the final 20 seconds, but maybe they were just trying to be nice and secure for that rotation because they will be towards that river hill first. You get a player posted up in back L, you get one of your SMGs inside the hill, and well, you see the man that was on the tank. Havok does fall to nades, but you still should be able to get that early time as Standy finally moves his body on point.
Nero snaps in, not enough to get the job done. TJHaly, 6 and 11 so far, a little slow out of the cage from him. We'll see if he can get things going. Røkkr with a great setup for now. They've got the backside covered, a man at the point, and TJ trying to find a hole. He pokes his way through at least one. Trades are on point. Boston still, their teeth are in their way forward. It's just a little slow. They want to get things going now. Straight through the back line. Attach got them covered. All good for now. Back over to the hard point we go. It's open for a second, but Røkkr have done a wonderful job holding this river.
Yeah, and Methodz just doing a great job with the AR. Gets the players out of the point. Wins a couple big AR gunfights until Standy off spawn with the automaton as well. Comes back and picks up 2 of his own. So Røkkr right back in the hill, and I mean again, it's an incredibly tight game, but also about the biggest lead we have seen so far throughout this entire game, but only a 20-point gap. It is still up for grabs for both of these teams. I'd say for Boston, the main problem, it's just been the slaying. Capsidal again, the number 4 overall KD on this map. Double neg right now, he's gotta crank it up.
As soon as he starts cranking it up though, we might be sending toupees to the sky. Here's we go. Priestahh trying to find something through the back line. TJ getting things going, and Capsidal on the board for a mo there, trying to get himself going. And I wouldn't be too surprised, mate, if we see another lead change in a moment. But at this moment in time, Nero dodging, diving, and weaving his way through the back ends of Røkkr. No one with that hard point time. Typical of what we usually see in the P1s, but for now, mostly dry for both teams.
And I say a nice little timing for a player to get in barn, and bad timing right there for Nero just to fall around the point. See what Methodz can do is the main AR obviously knows the pressure's coming in from the left. He gets shot in the back, but I think TJ able to pick up 2. Capsidal not trying to control this river side of the map, and I mean Boston maybe not getting the time on P1, but at least have a solid setup to be able to rotate over towards New. And if they can keep this pressure up, and you got players pushed out AS and D, maybe able to convert some of this P2 time, or maybe Attach will find the round and flip the spawns as soon as the hill pops.
Top left-hand side of the screen, there he goes. Attach is in the backside of 10, and he's got himself in there. All he has to do now is deal with Capsidal. Will he find the shots? It's Capsidal playing this one very patiently indeed, but Attach quite the veteran here on the roster. He's been around the block a few times. Your boy has seen it all. And there you go. He's seen Capsidal, and he's dealt with him indeed.
Well, that is the #1 overall KD on this map, and Attach has been doing it with a bunch of different weapons. So he's certainly prepared for the day, but obviously you got to actually get this hill time, and both teams struggling to get inside of this hard point. It's not a guarantee, but this might end up being a game where neither team gets to 250. We're sort of dancing on that line.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 20 something there on the game clock. We'll see how this one goes down, as then the kills coming through. Time ticking away now for Boston. We've seen the lead change, but now let's listen to it potentially happen with Minnesota Røkkr.
We gotta hit right, we gotta hold right.
Top, watch out, Methodz.
I'm going top, I'm going top, I'm going top.
I can help you, I'm giving a
Top dead, top dead, top dead.
Yeah,
I'm pushing on top.
I'm gonna hold all right.
I'm staying on the steps, I'm staying on the steps.
My front door.
Okay, I have left. Can you shoulder mid or no?
One shot, top, TJ. Two top, they're hitting top, they hit top. 2 steps, 2 steps, one more. TJ.
I see back.
I need top again, and front door. Front gate.
Left, dead.
Nice.
Okay, hill.
Yo, back. Shit on.
2 front door.
I have your mid, guys. I have all your mid.
Stay in the corner.
I have all your mid, guys. I have all your mid.
All day to tools.
I got it.
Let's get back window. Nice.
Mid.
Yo, stay on this time again. I'm coming to help you. I get your tools.
Yeah.
Stay in time.
Good time.
I'm starting tools.
All this time.
In front, I have tools.
I'll
Look at you,
Go on.
Nice.
I'm staying up tools.
Nice.
I don't see him.
I mean, hey, that's a 30-point comeback from the Røkkr and then some, and I am loving the comms from Havok, right? Calm when he needs to be, but when he's screaming at that, 2 players up top, 2 up top, Attach knows the pre-fire, trusts his teammate, and gotta credit Havok where credit is due, putting in some work.
I mean, what did Maverick say is you think up there and you're dead, and right now these boys are just acting on pure instinct. Standy attacks Priestahh, light up the feed. Røkkr getting it going. Over towards barn we go now, and it's looking fine so far. Will Breach find again the rhythm we've seen these 2 teams have against each other, the cadence set as they undulate their way through this series. Will the lead change hands again? We've yet to see a break here on barn.
Yeah, I mean, a $5 word, maybe for a $5 moment if you don't get this break. Things spiral out of control, but hey, Zinni able to pick up 2. You got Boston Breach right back inside, and I mean, it's been 7, 8, a dozen, 20, whatever the case may be. That many lead exchanges. Røkkr started to go on a tear, but Boston trying to come right back, and it's TJ and Nero lighting up the feed along the way until Standy arrives.
Here comes Standy, looking to get number 4 now in a row. Capsidal, he may be the next victim. He fires 1 before Havok comes through and steals that one in again, and the time is ticking in favor of Røkkr again. Rotations may be down. It all comes down to this fight with Attach.
Yeah, he's got to make the read as well. Ready for the spawn, but how many does he think is actually behind him? Because a couple players basically just spawned up on the squad spawn situation. Makes the read, can't win the gunny, and it is now all 4 players in the back for Boston. Bud, that's in the back, not in the actual hill time, and Priestahh trying to be that cutoff man.
Priestahh's going in behind enemy lines. Fires 1, looking for another there. Train's coming through. Well, this is the pressure now for the front side. Here comes Røkkr, and Boston, they're staying alive on point. Capsidal, he is having a tough game so far. 19 and 30. Into the point he flies, finds 1, traded out once again immediately. Boston still with the pressure here. You got a lot of kills there on the Røkkr players. They're spawning in the back, but this may be the opportunity for Boston to get on the point.
I mean, yeah, trying to hold it from the front. Well, look at all of those nades pouring in for Røkkr. That is, like, moment of the game, honestly, right there is just for the fact that Attach and Priestahh winning some big gunfights, even when they didn't have the back spawns, and at least keeping the guys outside of the hill. So strong stuff for the moment, but only a 30-point lead. Boston trying to claw their way back, and I mean, we've seen it a few times for the Breach. They're holding those P2 side spawns on this hill, but they've also gotten broken on P2 instantly. You don't clean that up, you lose the game, and obviously that's 45 seconds away on this P1. You gotta keep the pressure up.
Havok looking to get streaks here. Good shots, 1 more, not going to happen. Brilliant stuff either way. It's over the 200-point mark now for Røkkr, but we find ourselves in our 3rd set, and 50 seconds on the game clock. Keep an eye on that one. So this is important now for Boston Breach to get that time, stop the in-game clock, and try to mount the comeback. Crazier things have happened today alone. This is far from over.
I mean, they're working on it. Again, they might have lost those spawns for new, but I mean, 20 seconds on P1 is as good as it gets. The nades aren't coming through on time, so number 8, Nero, he's safe for the moment. Well, Standy's there to rip off his head and take him down, but still, if you can fight for the scrap, you take that scrap, and while Boston should get it all around, you know, the 30-point lead drops to about 20, but still a long way to go.
Nero's starting to warm things up a little. We're into the final 30 seconds of the game clock. Boston breach now in the time. This is big work indeed. Over to P2, finding those kills. And of all people, Capsidal now starting to find the kills as well. Pulling that deficit right back. Nero heating things up, flying forward. It is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. You've still got the hard point in the hands of Breach, and we may see a lead change.
Hey, this might be it, honestly. Keep in mind, this game clock might come into effect as well. It won't happen until the next hill, but you got to think about a lot of these things. You are jugglers in this moment. The contest is in from both of these
Nero.
teams. Methodz trying to stay alive, but the flank from Nero is there to take down 3.
Not over yet. The contest is there. That means the game clock runs. You have to clean these players up, get them off the point, and already things are looking even better now. 20 seconds on the last minute now as we dive into the point again. And Boston Breach have done it. They've taken the lead. Okay, now things get real spicy. Røkkr have got to start making big plays to take the lead back and then pull off the point and let the game clock end it.
It's going to be it. It's going to come down to a moment of just like when the game clock is too low, one team will have the lead by a few seconds and then jump off in the nick of time. Well, Røkkr just got that lead. Now the question is how much pressure they get. Cap's going to leave him, tries to go on the flank, and his teammate actually get those back spawns.
Oh my word, they got the back spawns. Now the time taking in favor now of Minnesota Røkkr. They could actually win it here as well. So, oh god, it's going to be a spicy finish in grannies. Here we go. Capsidal flying forward. Hard point now in the hands of Breach. You still have Røkkr spawning in the backside as well.
And they don't know. They don't know they're in the back. No one has turned around. Finally, they make that call. So in the final moments, they do. But Attach gets taken down as well. You make the reads. Havok, the last one left, dead.
Lead change again. Breach now in the driver's seat. You have to make a clean break now for Røkkr to get the time out of them. And this is it. Final 10 seconds now for Breach. In you go. Kills come through. No one in the point. It's 9 seconds on the game clock. Røkkr now in control. TJ finds one. No more to be had. Røkkr are back on it.
You got to get the lead, and then you got to hop out or maybe try to make this balance. You try to fly in. You fall. 2 seconds left. Røkkr have the lead, but over towards New Boston there first.
Boston on the rotation. Can Havok get there in time to find at least one? Open up the angles now. Havok, Standy, finding kills. Game clock's open. It's a 1 second lead right now for Røkkr. You have to get the kills. Oh my god. It's going to come down to the game clock. Contest. Find a kill. Røkkr get the win. And that was a particularly spicy bocage.
Hide and seek map 1 champion Standy delivering. Do you remember the moment he had on Tuscan for Røkkr early in the year where he hops out of the point and cost them the game? He hops out of that point and says, I gotta get my ass back, hide behind that barrel, and win that game. And I'm not even kidding. If he doesn't get back in that exact moment and we go to a tie, everyone would have been flames at Standy. But hey, he makes the play. Boston not there in time, and that is a nail biter of the game number 1. We got the last minute for you. Good luck keeping track because it is bodies everywhere around both of these points.
I don't know about you, friends, but I almost laid an egg. Woo, what a hard point that was to start things off here in this elimination matchup. The final minute, no chance again. Pandemonium.
And all I want to do, honestly, in this moment is just try to keep track of Standy at least towards the end of this hill, right? Because obviously we know it's a swing. Boston get a chunk of this time. Røkkr take it right back, get a nice little lead, but don't have the rotations. But Standy number 1 of the minimap at the moment. He's over here flanking tower. He's causing problems. Honestly, wonderful 2-piece in that moment just to get Røkkr the time. But then off spawn, where the hell does he go, right? Starts from the back tank, taking a route over towards P2. And I mean, again, the thing to look out for is he hops in the hill, hops back out, gets back inside, but wins a wonderful gunfight on Nero, and then it is about this final moment.
Oh my god, look at the time. Look at the scoreline as well. 3 seconds on the game clock. The contest is there. Røkkr have got to find Standy, and you bet he came out for a mo. He got straight back on that point. I think that Tuscan kept him up for a while, but man alive, what a hard point.
And again, right, just to give Standy all the credit in the world, it was a 2-piece at old, it was a 2-piece at new to get the win, but obviously Havok, 44 is not too shabby, 5,100 damage along the way. I mean, again, just looking at the map set, obviously, incredibly tight game, but Minnesota Røkkr now 5-1 since the Pro-Am on Bocage. They can put in some serious work.
All right, let's breathe the fire out of our lungs, friends, and now dive over to Desert Siege for Search and Destroy, map number 2 in this already very raunchy series. Okie dokie. While this is going to be very different again, maps have been, you know, we've got the stats, we've got everything here, but I feel like given what we've just seen and where we're going now in the series, all bets are off. Anything can happen now.
Well, I suppose, but at the same time, there has been a downtrend on Desert Siege for Boston. I guess that means, you know, you're definitely going back to the game plan, trying to figure things out. But certainly if you were a betting man, Røkkr, outside of yesterday, have been great on that map. But I suppose now that you think of that, you are right. All bets are off. An incredibly unpredictable game. I mean, I think still the lower seeds are like 5-3 on the weekend so far. So you never know.
Well, we'll take a look at now the top performers in Search and Destroy going into this one. Eyes on the prize for these two champions for either side. They'll be the players to keep an eye on. Standy and Capsidal. Again, I mean, it's not a whole lot. It never is too much separating these two teams, two players. It's going to be a decent matchup either way, but we'll see what they can bring. Because chance, again, for Standy and for the guys on Røkkr, heartbreak last night against LA Thieves.
Well, yeah, and of course, that just means you want to try to mend the damage that has been done. But this is honestly, you know, two of the top players in the league when it comes to Search and Destroy. Both those hyper-aggressive SMGs, both decent collectors of the first bloods. But you're right towards the top on, you know, 9 kills per round. I think they're both within the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 in that margin, getting a decent chunk of the team kills. So that is quite the battle that we have. Admittedly, when we're going on a map like Desert Siege, the ARs need to be present as well. But funnily enough, these are two teams that love playing the center of the map.
We will see a lot of center of the map fun and games. I think, you know, maybe not so heavy on the snipe. So, of course, we've seen Methodz run a snipe at times. I'm pretty sure Capsidal can run it.
Yep.
And on the side of course, Røkkr, Attach has been looking fantastic for a long time. We will see, though, ladies and gentlemen, as we now dive into Desert Siege. Map number 2. If you've got nails left after that one, save them, because the series is far from over.
And it was obviously pointed out in the game fuel keys to victory as well. Boston Breach, they love their neutral setups. They've shown off a couple interesting looks as well, just like how they play around the center of the map. Not necessarily a bull rush in towards the actual building, but they do get a little bit mixy, pull out some creative stuff, and we'll see what kind of response Røkkr is going to have for the moment, whether it be the SMG battle in the middle of the map, whether or not the snipers get shown off towards the outside lanes, or maybe if Methodz can just be the guy for the team when they need him. I know he's had a few clutches on this map as well.
Indeed, I mean, don't forget what Alex said on the desk. There's a lot of footage of Boston Breach on this map. Let's see if those tendencies have been picked up. TJ with a boomstick now, looking to catch a head or two out in the dunes, and that is exactly what didn't happen. Priestahh first blood.
Absolute beams. I mean, cross map, TJ's on a heading. This is the dump. Oh no, he picked it up off his teammate. I was about to say, but Havok causing problems, standing right there. It is now a 1v4, and you got 2 guns, but do you have your life? He is completely surrounded.
I mean, Methodz is completely trapped on this side of the map. Finds one, can't get the second, beams out of Attach there, and there's a swift round from Minnesota Røkkr. A kill for every member of the team.
It just feels so good for Priestahh if you're counting a sniper like that and you just zap him in the first 5-6 seconds of the round, open things up, and as soon as the sniper's dead, you see that for the rest of them, that just means freedom. We can go wherever we want, and they honestly just straight up sprinted at them.
Fast round indeed. We'll see if the same thing can happen now in round 2. We swap sides. That round took 28 seconds. Hey, fast one indeed, friends. Here we go, though. Røkkr now on attack. Shades of A now being thrown. Mid-map presence heavily felt there by Breach.
DJ gotta hit the shot. Doesn't actually spot a player out, and he's a little bit exposed, and well, there you go. Attach can't get the kill, but you don't have the angle just perfect. It can always be a little bit spicy. Nades coming out, does not connect. Bomb does get planted, no flanks coming through.
Standy gets the plant down. Here we go. 40 seconds. Trying to find the retake now from Boston Breach. It's going to be Nero, the point man now, first in to check every possible corner now of that overturned train car, and he hasn't found a single thing just yet. That's Attach, get the fights going. First trades coming through, standing on top of this one. And now the clock ticks into the red. 25 seconds left on this. Boston Breach, 2 members left. Now it's a 2v2.
Havok in the back, though, it's so difficult to read. He is going hunting, and well, his teammate actually needs to be careful as well. Because of the call, Cap is there, but now 2 players look in the wrong direction, but Methodz can't get the kill and no longer has enough time on the clock. Minnesota Røkkr, back-to-back rounds, convincing strat, and honestly, Nero, when he's standing on bomb, Attached, like, he should have known that he was there right next to him, because that's where he's shooting TJ from up top, but Nero just not looking for it in time, and I know he's there for the trades, but obviously ended up just putting himself in a pinch, so I don't know if that's communication or just too difficult of a spot, but whatever the case may be, Røkkr 2-0.
TJ's now 2 for 2 on rounds where he picks up snipe, peeks forward, and gets caught at an off angle, so we'll see if he can't catch something here. Will Priestahh be able to take care of him again? Same spot. Priestahh this time, though. Again, 3 for 3. They have got the perfect reads here on TJ.
Hey, from so many different angles, too. It is the worst feeling as a sniper. When you are getting tagged up no matter where you stand, He is feeling the heat, and his team is feeling the first blood battle. 0 for 3 for Boston. Nowhere to go, no safe spot on the map, and poor TJ, he has been just shot at from every single angle. Havok gonna hit him with the next one.
Here comes kill number 4, potentially for Havok, and the flank is on either way. So whether Havok gets it or Attach gets it, the pressure is now on. Boston are in trouble. Capsidal has made his way through mid-map, and you've still got TJ pinched now in the corner. There you go, that's it. Now you're in serious trouble, son. TJ's got to go big here with a big shot. There it is. The collapse as Røkkr have absolutely flattened him. Here comes Capsidal though. First tag in, not enough to get the job done. Røkkr, 3 straight rounds.
Dude, and if I'm TJ, I am putting it away at this point. Unless you're going over towards A on offense, going over towards B is not fun. Couldn't even tell you where he was getting shot at from, because that time it wasn't Priestahh, at least not at the start, but I mean, he is literally just getting forced back in these rounds. TJ has not yet done a lick of damage, so gotta switch up the way you snipe. Obviously, you can still keep it out on defense, you know, make your call there, but on offense, it has not been working.
If you don't hit, you must have quit, which I think TJ's lawyer may have told him. Over towards the A-bomb site we go once again, but this time should be a bit more of a straight-up fight. Nades. I think Capsidal's head was spotted there by Standy, and here we go! TJ puts away the snipe, picks up the 40, finds himself 2.
Love the calls from the S&D, well, sort of lured throughout the scene over the years, and whether or not he's in his PJs, TJ can always get the first bloods, he can do it all, but now we get to see how Røkkr plays the 2 versus 3. Priestahh will take the free pick, even though he doesn't have that bomb. And right now, Boston not too concerned about the flank, despite the fact that B is wide open. They haven't quite turned around. Cat maybe sort of feeling this one out, but a straight up 2v2, plenty of time on the clock. And Priestahh and Cap right next door to each other.
They're running circles. Oh, Priestahh in this haunted house of horrors. He may be the scariest thing. However, Capsidal's managed to escape, slipped away for now. 30 seconds on the round. As Minnesota Røkkr looking to make something happen. Attach has popped dead silence, looking to now cover some ground at great speed. 0 sound. Capsidal manages to find 1. No ace now for Thieves, but a beautiful bit of work as Attach now makes it a 1v1. Oh no! What the?
Before I could even talk about attaching the 1v1s, just instant on the I don't know what kind of laser vision he has. I don't know if that diamond popped up or his teammate actually, I think, might have seen him in that moment cross when he was on well, but I don't think Attach saw him at first. That is either good comms or just like the beamer coming out of Attach.
I mean, he basically hit nothing but head the whole time, but dude, that was melted. Nothing but sand there now. 4 rounds to nothing. Minnesota Røkkr looking wonderful here on Desert Siege. As Attach is 3 spree. What a D-light that one was. Super aggressive now here on defense.
Well, you can see clearly they've made adjustments to their S&D game plan, right? Or at least bounced back from yesterday. Now they got a double flank coming through. Methodz reads it, but way too late. Already getting death from above. In 2022, Havok is there, and he is ready for the next gunfight.
His Automaton's going to poke around the corner in a moment, and that's going to be trouble. There it is, Capsidal takes care of it. 3v3 now with the bomb been planted, and Nero getting things going as well. This is a good look for Boston Breach. This is their round to now lose.
Well, Cap in the back just dancing with the devil, right? I mean, Attach is here, but left alone in a 1 versus 3 now, 1v2, but I know Attach is clutch, but only 25 seconds left on the clock. 2 different players to kill, posted up in corners. Impossible. He's on a 4. He's playing for the Glide.
Has to stay alive. If he gets a pick here, great. But at this moment in time, if I'm Capsidal, it'd be hard for me not to really think that I have a mental block against Attach, and I simply cannot kill him.
Never a player to stop being scared of, but at least Boston able to get on board, right? Bounce back, stop the bleeding. Make sure you don't go down 5-0, because if you're down 4 like that, like in my head, at least personally, I'm already thinking of like, dude, you might have needed that blockage. If the S&D is going to go like this, that is a problem. So that 1-point heartbreaker in game number 1 could cost, but a little bit of life, a couple players now getting on the board, maybe a little bit of momentum on their side. You convert the offensive win. Now it's about clutching on defense. I know Røkkr have shown a few different looks. They won the elongated 2 versus 2. So Boston have certainly been close. You got to find that cigar.
Standy looking to speedily move this round along.
With an AR.
Prattling of gunfire all around him as well. I mean, he's trying to find literally anything there. Spots and Methodz.
And this is why, by the way, he has the AR. This is the gunfight he's willing to take. He will hang out here for as long as he needs to. Plenty of time in this round. Waiting for at some point Methodz to come back and overcommit.
Oh, wow. The timing is unbelievable. Capsidal managed to get at least one. Gets out with a life for now, but there are players all around him. Movement is of the essence right now, with the first blood going the way of the breach. Nero getting involved as well. The snap is there. Priestahh managing to stay alive up top. It's a 2v3.
Yeah, attached with the, the beamer. There's the sniper we were looking for, and that's a 2 versus 2. A freebie, though, for Capsidal down low. Pick a corner, any corner. Now for Attach, he's got a couple guns for the job, but similar situation last time. He's still, at least in the back of his mind, really thinking about that glide.
Yeah, he's never going to expect these players to be running around holding hands. And yeah, you're right, he's still going to be playing for streaks. I would imagine post up here, get the sniper out, and enjoy the sights of Desert Siege and see if a player may cross it. But for now, the final moments will tick down, and it's another round. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's not over yet. Here it is! Ziddy catches him out and ends the spree.
And a massive kill just to make sure the glide is no longer a concern. You see, actually, Standy was still up top waiting for Methodz to peek back from tower. He never does, and Nero ends up cleaning up that kill. So strategically there, and shout out to Capsidal for the first blood, breaking him down in that round. 2 back-to-back, no streaks for Attach. I mean, you're thinking when you're down 4-0, what, like a 10% chance of winning the game? It's feeling like just horrible. Well, hey, right now, back up to 30, 40%, a little momentum, feeling good.
1 round at a time, friends. Nero with the bomb in hand now. Attach from the grave straight into snipe. See if he can catch something here, as Havok is so aggressive, man. He is just all up in your biz, no questions asked. That's a shadow, that's a kill, that's an instant in and out. Oh, and he stays alive as well. Here comes Nero. Good pinch there from Boston, keeping things going. It's a 3v. Oh no, it's a 2v3. Oh my god, the players are dropping. TJ is sprung to life. Standy now the last man up.
Yeah, you just had Methodz playing with him, right? Just needs to bait out the shots and wait to gun him down. 4 in a row for Røkkr at the start, 3 in a row now for Boston. We have ourselves again.
This is certainly something. Desert Siege. 1 more round to tie things up and make it 4 straight now for Boston Breach.
Also, by the way, as soon as TJ put away the sniper, things have been so much better for this team, right? 5-5 now, started off 0-3. I think we saw him pick up a 2-piece there in that round with the automaton, so he has now found the right gun for the job. Maybe that'd be an opening for Attach to look for him with the actual snipe, because we've seen one of those so far, but whether or not that'll happen, over towards Røkkr, they've been clean on their bomb plants on this site. Capsidal, maybe a free pick can come his way though, because Priestahh oh so close to getting his head ripped off.
He just dropped from his perch now, closer towards that bomb site. Here comes the plant, and with that, we're going to see Boston have to spring to life. TJ looking for the first blood, not to find anything. Here we go, 4v4 retake.
Yeah, Priestahh's getting hunted, by the way. I mean, this is quite a few players looking to go on these flanks. They know he's going to be around this area. The question is, can Priestahh make the read, or can the nade come through for the first blood? Now you got a triple flank coming through. You still have TJ posted in the back. The trades are coming through.
Trades are coming through. It becomes now a 2v2 as Havok is shooting a ghost now out in the dunes. There we go. Standy makes it all down to a 2v1. 20 seconds on the clock now for Methodz. This is to force the team to map point Røkkr, as Methodz has been unable to clutch up, and he won't be able to get this one either. It is 5-3. Røkkr with the advantage.
Yeah, and I really thought Boston, because they had a player over towards the back, but TJ ends up getting caught. That is great awareness from Standy. So that is just almost simultaneously a bunch of little plays happening across the map. A difficult 3v4 clutch, but Røkkr delivered. They now stop the bleeding, and now 1 round away from going up 2-0 in the series. Nice plays on offense they were able to get.
Flow state nearly achieved for Røkkr there, but Boston have snapped them out of it with some great rounds. Can they find a couple more and make a real scene here on Desert Siege? Havok, what in the name of all things Pixels? He manages to spot that player through it, catches the tags, out with his life. Attach with the first blood.
Hey, that's the guy. That was the player Attach was able to get, was the guy Havok tagged up. So great coordination from the team. The comms, same as Bokash, flowing through between Havok and Attach, and well, it gets that much more difficult for Boston. TJ's found himself a corner, couple players around this area, Capsidal up top, but I mean, Standy right here, nice and safe.
It's that central building again. This is what we expected from both teams more, I would say, in the earlier rounds, but now as things get much more dicey, Boston playing far more conservative, not willing to let too much go.
Attach not showing himself, Standy not showing himself. I mean, yeah, there's the angle. Don't even know where it was from. Priestahh able to deliver now with 2 versus 4, and I mean, you're playing the bomb, but that does not mean you're feeling good about it.
Not at all. Standy's got eyes on. Here comes Attach. TJ's a dead man. Standy pounces Methodz now trying to make it that bit easier for his squad, but it's all him. His squad's dead. It's a 1v3, a technical ace if he can get the job done, and oh no, hope in hell. Røkkr take care of business there on Desert Siege. They go up 2-0 in the series.
Ooh, shout out to the homework. They lose the siege yesterday and they respond in a dominant fashion. I mean, hey, Boston at one point might have had 3 in a row, but that's only because they were making the adjustments, right? Well, one team adjusts, Røkkr does as well. 6-3 victory after the nail biter of the Bocage, but now a massive advantage in this series.
A tremendous advantage to be had here at 2-0. I mean, that nail biter was one thing, but 6-3 is a little bit more dominant chance. I think the numbers are sort of proving true here. The map record's certainly working out for Røkkr, looking far more like the team that led them to this moment than the team we saw last night.
And I think I mean, the SMG duo, especially Havok at map number 1, absolutely lights out. Well, he does his job, couple first bloods, and obviously attached with the 9 kills. And I mean, pulls out the sniper when he needs to, rocking the automaton when he needs to, gets the first bloods when you need them. Just a very solid, well-rounded performance for Minnesota Røkkr.
Yeah, good stuff indeed. Now we got to control, mate, and this is where things get wild. Tuscan coming up next. Berlin hardpoint if we have to go the distance, and again, at Tuscan Search and Destroy if we have to go all the way. But ladies and gentlemen, the way things have turned right now, Boston, they just can't seem to do anything right. It seems to be stacked against them, mate. Røkkr looking magnificent.
Well, look, at the very least, Boston, like that Berlin hardpoint, if they can get there, is a fantastic map for them in the series, but they have to get there first. They have a 6-5 record on Tuscan control, but as of late, Minnesota Røkkr have made that their map, so I think Røkkr right now thirsty for that 3-0.
We'll see if they're going to get that first quench it again as we've got that control coming up after this break. Will this be the last we see of Boston Breach here at Major 3, or will this be the beginning of a magnificent comeback? We'll find out after this break.
Let's go, let's go.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can. Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Map number 3 between Minnesota Røkkr and Boston Breach. And hey, as I said before the break, this could be the last we see of Boston here at Major 3. Something's in the air here in Toronto, and we love it. Spicy games abound, but this is it. Do or die for Boston Breach.
And now I'm trying to just think back, because obviously when I talked about Desert Siege earlier in Minnesota Røkkr, I said they were 3-0 recently. Literally forgot to include last night when I looked at the stats. So now when I said they're 3-0 on Tuscan Control, I can't remember if they played it yesterday. But whatever the case may be, they've certainly been lights out on the map and have been converting some of those offensive rounds. So 3-0 or 3-1 or 4-0, I have no idea, but good. That is the important part. So Røkkr map, they want to close it down because obviously, well, the Berlin hardpoint is a good one. Very much so for Boston Breach. So you want to end it in a 3-0 fashion. Don't want to roll the dice on a potential map 4 or potential map 5. No Boston comebacks today. And of course, if you're Breach, hey, you get this one. You're feeling great about the rest of the series.
This is it. This is the beginning of the comeback right now for Boston. It's all been laid out. It's been set in stone. Will the prophecy come true? Standy's first blood gets things going nice.
And another thing from the Game Fuel keys to victory, right, is the fact that Boston never go with any sort of standard A push. They're always trying to play at least a little bit with mid over towards B, but Havok, he was ready and waiting. Gets that kill, and well, now he's got all the time in the world to play.
2-man stack over towards A. They're gonna get that one done pretty fast. Teacher's gonna leave this one to push those players out. Havok's already on the pinch. Nero gets a tag in. Not enough to quite get the job done, but for now, you're all good. Second segment A taken care of. Oh no! It was a pixel away from being finished. Standy's there to pick it up. That should be it. There we go. 2 segments down, 1 to go.
And you, again, see though, they always want this pressure over towards B, so I think right now, they're waiting for that moment, maybe to try and hop this point, at the very least, drag Minnesota Røkkr back to this side of the map and look for an opening. But Standy trying to close that one down as quick as he can. He has now returned to his spawn, and I don't know if you're actually gonna read this. They are trying to hunt him down. You try to hunt down Standy, you better be ready for that gunfight. Couple trades coming through, and this is a lot of effort and maybe to no avail.
Yeah, Standy's so hot right now as Havok trying to clear up Methodz, finds it. Plat's now all his. Keep things going now. Big tags out, having to take care of the second. 5-1 right off the rip now. So far, so good. You are looking towards capturing A now for Boston Breach. A little bit of pressure in towards B for a second there, but they should be able to get A done at a minute, 2 o'clock.
And obviously, you know, 6-5 record on this for Boston. They've been solid all year, and you certainly like the idea of, hey, if you ever find the moment to just make the break over towards B, any tick you get on that zone is a very much welcome one, let alone capping the entire thing. So you respect the attempts, but couldn't quite find enough kills to make it happen. But now it is the full focus of attention, and well, you don't gotta read the corner if you got a gunny like that. TJ waking up on the deck.
And here we go. Methodz and TJ, that have stacked the point. Now, this is something Boston have not done in the past. They've not been the best at doing this, but now they're getting the job done. The clock has stopped. The first segment is cleaned up. Pressure now from the front is gone. It's the flanks now as Attach opens the point up. It all comes down to TJ. Nero on the tactical retreat. Backs up, tries to help out. Havok guns him. Havok can't get both, though, as the pressure, they're alive and well on the point. There is 1 segment remaining on B.
Cat, yeah, just trying to make the play, but hey, you get those 2 ticks, you're already feeling great, and hey, 11 lives, minute 15 to try to make something happen. Obviously, a lot of map control you have to now make up for. Minnesota have a nice spread across the map, but you just got to try to take the time and break it down. Not the best start with TJ gonna fall, but seems for the most part, Field is going to be that call. Methodz maybe with a late pinch through P5, but Methodz just waiting for his teammates.
Can't take too long, though. They've only got a minute to get this one done, and this is interesting. They get the trades coming through. This is going to slow the hit from Boston Breach. 8 lives remaining. 7 now on attack. A big kill there from Capsidal to keep that presence forward. Trying to manage that real estate is one thing he's worrying about now. He's dead. 6 lives left for Boston. Just over 30 seconds.
And Røkkr, they might have to like figure out how to wrangle this, because right now only 1 person potentially looking towards P5, now make it 2, but they don't have the numbers for the moment depending on how fast Standy flanks.
Here comes the pinch. Standy's coming for them cheeks, flying in the back line. Gonna get 1. There's a second as well. Standy, brilliant job. No lives left, 20 seconds on the clock, and that has sucked the wind out of the sails of Boston Breach.
And just a really good call coming in from Minnesota, and honestly now Standy on a 5, so he can be thinking about that glide. So right now, TJ, not a kill you want to feed, but now just 1 away from getting this streak. So an interesting moment certainly in this game. Clock winds down, no extra kill for Standy. So, I mean, two things that are major that just happened. Boston get 2 ticks, that's fantastic. Standy, though, the opportunity for something potentially even stronger. The glide bomb for an extra play, but again, just great timing for Minnesota Røkkr just to sort of suss out where the push is going to come from. Didn't have a ton of pressure over towards P5, takes an extra couple seconds. As soon as they figure it out, well, ends up being perfect.
Again, in the long run, not a bad round for Boston whatsoever. As you touched upon it, they get 2 segments on B with a full A cap. We'll see if that comes into play later on in that final defensive round. But until then, we will see now what Røkkr have on offense as they man a 3-man break towards B. And it looks like Nero's got a read on this one. We saw the door. Here come Røkkr. First up's Havok. Nero finds the first, tags her in the second. Still has pockets full of stuff to throw at them. Maybe doesn't even need it. Great kills out of Nero.
All of that, though, was just to get Standy that kill. He was the last man in line, baiting his teammates as hard as possible, and they delivered. So I think that's a calculated play. Maybe don't get the progress over towards B, but you will take the glide for the long-term game. So they're thinking long, now thinking short, or maybe actually still thinking over towards B. They get a little bit of pressure on this moment. You still have to read the late flanks, and if attach ain't turning, this play ain't gonna work out.
Oh, Standy frying right now. 14 and 7 on the death there. 45 seconds on the clock now remaining as there we go. In towards A, Minnesota Røkkr plant themselves. Nero, though, fresh off a respawn now, trying to get himself into the fight, picking up the flank, stunned up indeed. Standy now has the comms, he knows he's there. This is a good hold out of Røkkr. First bit of progress done, halfway through the second.
And Boston right now sort of debating, do you want to make the call to hit it? Well, yeah, Nero waits for his friend through you, and they do, and well, you know, it doesn't work out at all. Both get 2-piece, that'll be A secured, and now players are flying over towards B. Havok already behind you, well, Nero ready off respawn. So maybe nothing too crazy. It'll be about 1 minute and 43 on the clock as Minnesota now trying to gear up for their next push.
They take care of A, an additional minute to play with now. Standy doesn't check a corner, and well, there you go, he's dead. Minute 35. 20 lives for Røkkr on the offense, 22 for Boston defending.
And now the debate, I think, is whether or not you want to try to call in the glide just to make the play, because keep in mind, they are down 2 ticks. Do you want to set up to make that play? Do you want to just play it out and see if the kills fall into your lap? But whatever the case may be, that is an ongoing conversation. Is right now Røkkr, 2 players working this flank. See Boston certainly ready for it.
It's the exact same play call we saw Toronto Ultra make, where again the glide is the start of the push. For now, Nero, Capsidal doing a great job on the back line, flushing those members of Røkkr out, makes safe the backside of the map. Now all eyes forward, get ready for the next hit from Røkkr. And again, time ticking. Less than a minute to work with now, and 17 lives for Røkkr.
Well, everyone gearing up through P5, getting ready to go. All 4 players trying to group up and get nearby, but Methodz there in the back, ripping heads and shutting that one down. Sort of the awkwardness. If you try to do this on offense, if it's your SMG that normally leads the charge with a glide bomb, it makes it that much more difficult. So they have not yet made that call, and this is a super tight setup for Boston.
Firing squad for Boston right now. They're not going to let anything get through, and here come the ARs. Watch out, although those 30-round magazines, they deplete real quick. There's the first kill. Standy now making his way into the death screen. And up next now, onto the point. Priestahh there. Catch, tip of his head, taken care of. Beautiful shots out of Nero. 5 spree for him. Checks the corner, gets the kill as well. 1 more for Streaks.
I mean, hey, get the bounce back. That is the response that Boston needed. And honestly, way too good of a setup to try to break down. Through a wall might be it. Number 7, he is waiting for it to fall in his lap. And Methodz might be just a little bit of bait.
Oh, here he goes, and he's a little bit more than bait right now. Finds a kill at least. Here we go. Oh, no, wow. It was so close. Yet, we give the round to Boston either way, 1-1.
And yeah, I mean, 1-1, but a 2-tick advantage, right? So Boston definitely have maybe not a sizable lead, but at least a slight advantage so far in this game. And well, if Nero connects, then any little bit of action that Røkkr could have had with the glide, you have the instant response. So we already saw Standy able to convert. Get to see what Nero's able to do, and we've talked about their unconventional hits. Almost never just have a straight-up A hit, and well, this is the time to not be conventional. Find some way to feed it to Nero. Last time it was 3 players baiting for Standy to make it happen. This time Nero gets capped.
Capsidal, he's going in. They've deviated from course. They're going to leave those 2 players over towards B alone, and this is interesting. We're going to see some special stuff. This could be it. Out of Boston, they've pulled those 2 defenders now away from P5 through mid-map, and they're never going to expect that 3-man church hit. What happens next? Because we're still trying to find that kill.
You're just never going to know where Nero is in this spot. So many players in church, and if you ever try to make that hit, Nero can just play patient to try to get the kill. So this is a super difficult spot for Røkkr, who you can actually see have completely backed down on the map and are now posted in the back spawn. Maybe 1 player in fire, but They're trying to do everything they can to not feed it to Nero, but here comes the kill, converts, the glide is in. The long-term play again pays off. Both of these teams playing smart.
And this is wild. I mean, while all that was going down, and Røkkr scratching their chins, looking for him, all of that, TJ's been sitting chilled in A. He finds himself a few kills, gets himself the point. 2 minutes and 12 seconds now to work with, 25-ish lives either side. This should be an interesting hit towards B.
And you actually have plenty of pressure in through Church. You've got the reads on P5. You are not worried about your flank. You are just flying forward. An unfortunate start, though. TJ wins that, and maybe the floodgates open, but no longer the case. And now to be back towards those stuns and attach 6 and 14, and maybe an example is the Y.
There we go. Slow things down. Hit to radio side. Tags are in. Massive kills out of Røkkr once again. Standing now to clean up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Forward you go now as Capsidal keeps them guessing. Never let them know your next move. 20 lives either side. 1:30 on the clock to work with. And Standy on a 3 spree. Could be getting more streaks.
I mean, hey, you never know. And again, just the unfortunate situation is have the aggro SMG with the glide bomb in the back pocket. I think if you're Røkkr, you need to make this round on defense dominant. You can't give up a single another tick. You're already down by 2. Need to try and be perfect, and hey, for the moment, delivering a small but noticeable 3-life advantage, decent chunk of map control.
There you go. Still holding the line down though. 2 clean kills there from Boston that opens up the Church side of the map through the field. They will fly. The backside of Church no longer safe. That's where Røkkr is spawning. But for now, you've cut them right down the middle. If you deal with one player, that's good enough. You may be able to dive on the point. You still have to worry about the flanks.
Yeah, Priestahh is going to be the man on the flank, but that's also an AR player that might want to take his time. It's a couple players on point. This might already be another tick coming through. Nero here for the flank. Nero here for the wipe. Now you might be able to stack this point.
You've got at least one player on the point for now. Nero's going to be the front line. He has to hold these players back as long as he possibly can. Here comes the next line. And Standy investing the glide. Will it be able to flush both players off the point? At the very least one. There we go. Open point for now. 10 lives either side. Here comes the fight. It's not over yet.
I mean, hey, dude, you get the extra tick. You just burn the glide from Standy on defense. You're already feeling sweet about how this game has been going. Still, though, for Røkkr, it is not over yet. You got to make sure you fight and close out this round. You still need that advantage. A little bit of an interesting setup. Couple players on B. You have, what, Capsidal in an interesting spot. Everybody up, gearing in through P5, gearing in through Church. Boston's got to worry about the flank, and, well, they got to worry about attach too.
Dash is still, he's starting to get things going. That's a 4 spree now. 12 and 17 overall. Looking to catch a couple more in the final 20 seconds here of this round as Røkkr looking to put another one under their belt now. Here on defense, there goes the kills. Havok trying to find a few more. 10 seconds left. Just keep Boston away. No, thank you. Good day, sir. I do not want to talk about nothing about Boston right now. We'll take the round win, and we'll put ourselves on match point.
I mean, dude, and this just goes to one of those very interesting times of a Tuscan control where, yes, Røkkr have that 2-1 lead, but it sort of feels like Boston have that advantage. They've done all the little things right. They still have the extra glide. They've burned it on the side of Standy. Of course, though, that being said, if Røkkr ever have a play towards B, if they ever get a 4-man wipe, they are still one of the better teams at converting around on offense, but right now, Boston, they have the tick advantage. They're favorable to get the defense in that final round. You just cannot collapse in this one.
Yeah, Boston must win this round. It sounds insane, but a +6 tick advantage right now. To lose it here would be a tremendous spit in the face of the incredible work they've done so far here on Tuscan Control. 4 spree for Havok. There's number 5, and dare I say it, we may be looking at more streaks.
Yeah, and well, this is just going to be problematic. He even checks his corners, and well, not enough for the glide. He gets taken down. Super important kill for Methodz to be able to get, and all that comes off the back of Boston. You already see the game plan. It is no interest in the slightest of defending A. They've had tight setups over towards B entire game long, showing off a different one, and funnily enough, Nero completely by himself, picking up pieces over towards A while his team now making moves. They're trying to get a blunder set up.
I mean, yeah, look, the one moment they were like, hey, we can hold B for as long as we want for additional 2 minutes, but I'm feeling it. Let's hit it. And is it going to work out as the kills start coming through? I'm getting a little worried, though. You're investing a lot. This is becoming a little bit more of an expensive defense now for Boston. As things start to get a little dire, we will see the A zone go down. Let's go for a quick listen in with Boston Breach.
I got one, another one. He's going bomb Church. Havok's in bomb Church. Yep, Havok's in bomb Church.
Yeah.
He's one, I think. I spawned Church Charlie.
Fucking aBeZy. Nothing left right now.
Okay, I'm back out.
Then just keep on that. It'll be green, right? Or you have it?
Yeah, I'm green. I'm watching it.
Watch the back. Then go Church Charlie, then go Church Charlie.
Yo, they can go well.
Havok here. No, Havok in the back.
Then I'm backing up.
I'm pretty sure it's in the back.
Watch out, green. They're going to stack point.
Get ready to glide.
Blind down.
I'm gliding.
Oh wait, plant. Green.
Okay. Two on time. One's top green and one's back our spawn. Okay, the guy's on. Okay. One's back our spawn though. Like, nice. Yeah, one's back truck. One's back truck. Let's go. Back our spawn. Okay, uneven him. He's still back our spawn.
I'm pushing mid.
He's on 12.
I'm one shot. I can't tell him. Listen, I involve mid. He's backstairs. Let's hit him. Listen, I involve mid. I went mid. Back tank. Yo, he's ready. One shot. Mid truck.
Okay.
He's going 14v16.
14v16.
Mid upper green church.
And you heard a little bit of awkwardness in the setup. They're trying to figure it out on the fly. When you're forced to call on the glide, it was not great timing. And well, now you got a clutch on defense, but Nero is there. Røkkr getting close to the point, but they get taken down. So hey, they might be doing this on the fly, but if the gunny's right, they're delivering.
1 minute left now for Boston Breach to stay alive and force that final defensive round. They've got to do this all over again in the next one, ladies and gentlemen, but they've got to get there first. Røkkr now on the precipice, finding that opening to get onto B. Kills are there. They've got all their players up for now. Tatch stays alive, gets out. Still trying to draw the aggression of the defenders forward. Now through the church alley they go, onto the point. If they can get a couple of kills to open this up, this could be huge. Here we go.
In Boston, if everybody's in the back, you just have to take your time and let the gunfights come to you. Capsidal, though, wins a massive 2. He does get traded out. Røkkr still 2 bodies nearby. The next SMG comes through, and Boston hold strong. But again, when you have tight setups like that, church alley has been open, and Røkkr have been putting the pressure on, and obviously 9v7, they might be able to do this on kills.
This is not over just yet. No, still. Here comes Priestahh. Forward he flies. Stops the clock. He's going to draw those players in. Here comes the hit. Oh my god, he didn't check it. His nades from his teammates. Oh my god. Priesthah's in. Kills are there. They're going to dive on the point in a moment, but is it going to be enough? Havok on the back line. Finds at least one. There's at least Nero coming through now as well. Church alley wide open. Minnesota Rockets reinforcements flooding forward. Here we go. The second segment is gone. Methodz cut down. Oh my god. Røkkr, they're on the point. Capsidal's the last man. They've done it. Minnesota Røkkr. Whether it was the point or the kills, they had full control in that final round. And we will say goodbye to Boston Breach in an incredibly decisive 3-0.
And one of the most painful ways to lose on Tuscan controlled defense is losing on lives. The battle of how aggressive do you want to be, but Røkkr took it to him, took them to task, and it is the SMG duo again that led the charge. 34 real ones for Standy. Havok not too far behind, and I mean, hey, Boston sort of played the meta game well, but in that final round, it came down to the TDM game, and well, Røkkr just delivered the hot 3-0.
The Stavok duo putting in solid work there indeed on Tuscan control, and man, that is a stinger for Boston. They did everything right in the first 2 rounds, chance a +6 in the tick advantage, but they couldn't get near that final defensive round. Wow, Røkkr, congratulations on that 3-0. Commiserations, Boston Breach. They will dip out of Major 3.
And you know, it seemed like Røkkr sort of in those final moments hadn't quite like to a T figured out what those setups were going to be, but a lot of times Boston, the only thing they were leaving open was church alley, and well, Røkkr was finding that as their like point of attack to actually make progress. So it wasn't a perfect suss out of the setup, but they certainly started to make some plays. But again, 34 for Standy, 29 for Havok. I mean, hey, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, 3,000 plus damage each. The pair of them putting in great work, and that was you know, problem solving on the fly for Røkkr, getting to identify those weaknesses in the setup there that Boston Breach had. They really made it work in the end there. So, woof, lordy, what a series. Here are the highlights from Tuscan Control, and we needed to see some special stuff out of Boston, and we really did, but that is the way Control crumbles. It can all fall upon you, especially on a map like Tuscan. We've seen it on Berlin. It's a cruel mistress.
And you know, we're only getting a 30, 45 second glimpse of the comms, but it seemed like Boston a lot of times just figuring these things out of the fly, like having the conversation of what's open, what could be happening, and definitely the conversation is good, but a little bit too slow. We saw moments like that for Røkkr where they're figuring out the setups and breaking them down. Those are the Standy flanks that are coming through. You like the work they were doing just to get Standy the glide, the double baits coming through. So I'd say super efficient work, and just on the strategic front, Røkkr just a little bit ahead.
Yeah, Røkkr finally starting to look like the team that got themselves here versus the team we saw last night, and I've said it before and I may have to say it again, but there we go. They certainly got things going in this series, and they will advance deeper into this tournament, and it is getting grueling indeed, mate. That lower bracket is stacked. More on the winners matchups tomorrow, but until then, we've still got one more to play tonight, but there we have it. 3-1 in the control, 3-0 in the series, and that is one Bocage hardpoint that we will never forget.
And I think what happened last night, right? A couple teams we didn't expect to fall, guys that were phenomenal in the Stage 3 qualifiers. Think of your OpTics who lose to Florida. Your Røkkr now have the response. Toronto, well, it's not like they were, you know, maybe expected to win against FaZe, but a bunch of these teams getting those bounce back wins and maybe things making just a little bit more normal here on Friday.
What is normal here in the CDL? We may never know. A man who may know, though, is on stage right now with Bryce. It's the man himself. It's Havok.
Thank you very much, Tim Miles. Yes, I am joined on stage with Havok. First of all, congratulations, a great series. I know the fans are very enthused by it as well, but I do have some questions, some hard, some easy, but let's get into it. First of all, you went 5-0 in the qualifiers, huge step for your team, and kind of slipped up at the first bit out of the gate here at the major. Like, what happened yesterday?
So yesterday we just made a lot of like under pressure mistakes on the Berlin hardpoint, and our S&D was super flat because I think we were overthinking that, you know, like other people are studying us. But today we went back to our roots in S&D and it paid off. We stayed confident and we kept doing the play calls that we usually do. And yeah, our hardpoint and respawn was looking good. Our comms were good. Everyone's shooting straight. So.
Yeah, well, obviously that will lead to a win today, so works out well. The next question I have is probably a little bit more complicated. Now, you have an interesting history with the CDL and its teams. So what made Minnesota the right team to join now?
We're the best, yeah. I always had a feeling that Minnesota Røkkr would be the right fit, and I had a feeling like when I was in challenges that they would hit me up if they kept struggling. So I wanted to hold off on that because I feel like I just fit right in with their personalities on the team. And I've always wanted a team with Attach and Preston, and then Eli is just this young kid that I feel like I can mold into a really good player. So that's kind of the main reason I wanted to join them, and I was patient for that, and it paid off.
It certainly has paid off as well. I know a lot of people are big fans about you being on the squad. Kind of one of the things I want to talk about coming into this major as well, huge win streak coming through here. Did that set the team up correctly, and what were you kind of looking for to make sure was solid running into this event?
Yeah, so the 5-0 was really good. We really needed the points to try to get in that top 8 contention for champs. Like that's the main goal is getting the champs. So we really needed that, and then coming into the event, it was definitely a big confidence boost being 5-0 and being super comfortable in S&Ds and stuff. Like I said, if we executed better yesterday, we would have won that. But now we can make a losers run. These guys are known for it's never chalked. So like, we can make this losers run one match at a time.
That is very true. You have got a long losers run ahead of you in a very stacked loser bracket. My last question kind of relates to something you said to me as you walked onto the stage, actually. The kind of the difference between challengers and the CDL, one of them is obviously schedule. What else have you noticed kind of in the big leagues?
There's a lot more preparation for matches that I wasn't really used to besides the elites and challengers. So just kind of like hard countering strats in S&D, like watching a lot of VOD on the other team before you play them, because you have so much time before your matches. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. And it's just a lot more structured, you know what you're getting into.
Awesome, all right. Thank you very much for joining me on here on stage. I'll let you get off and chill out and relax and celebrate with your team. We're gonna throw this one back to the desk. Break it down, Belly.
Thank you so much, Brycey, my man. All of Minnesota's rocking right now with a big sweep over to Boston Breach. Bring out the brooms, baby. Boston's going home. Minnesota's moving on. And like I said, before, man, they're trying to make a new streak. But Ali, what are your thoughts about this?
I mean, it was just a tough matchup overall. I feel like there was a very slow start on the side of Boston Breach, where on the side of Minnesota Røkkr, they came out with the fire, right? Like some of the plays I feel like I was watching out of Attach as a player were just mind-boggling to me. Like when it came to Bocage, like I just watched Attach hit one of the craziest P2 rounds. He went all the way deep river, deep into spawn. He hit the deep cut, checked the corner, went into 10, just to flip Boston Breach out, like just to get some time when they were down and out. So some of the plays these Minnesota Røkkr team is making in these situations are just, I mean, the fact that they're thinking that far ahead into the game, you heard Havok talking about it, where there's a lot of prep, right? And when they're in game making those shot calls, like they're all on the same page, and he feels comfortable with that team.
And one thing too, I feel like it ultimately just comes down to the opening Bocage. Like that was a huge momentum shift possibly in this game. And the one thing too for Boston that you have to worry about is that you're faced off against a hot Minnesota team who we know was great in Search Destroy, and then that control record. They now sit at 7 control victories in a row. Like I said, that momentum I feel like was there. They had the opportunity to bring back the game, but Standy made the play, and I feel like really Minnesota rode that from there. You saw Havok talking about it in the, during the interview. He's like, hey, we learned. We were playing things a little bit too far-fetched. We were, I guess, kind of trying to hard counter our own strategies. We went back to basics, and it really worked out from there.
And Nameless, I want to ask your thoughts, but while we do that, let's throw Havok's stats up on the screen right now. The man definitely deserves it with a 1.36. But ultimately, Nameless, man, how are you feeling about this series that we just saw?
I mean, I love what I saw. I mean, especially in the control there, like on that last round on that offense, that was beautiful, guys. Like, let's talk about pressure. A team that really, their pace is what was holding them back in respawn. Well, on that round, that was elite pressure. That is so hard for defense to try to regain control of the map, to try to put you in that trap. They were not able to do it. How many times do we see Havok flying out of radio, winning that first gunfight? Standy pushing through church, winning that first gunfight. That is how you win an offense on Tuscan. They're able to do it. And then the search and destroy. Let's talk about what he said in the interview, how they're working on hard countering. There are a couple rounds where Boston, they were pushing all together. We saw TJ get a two-piece. I think it was round number 4, pushing upside train side. Well, what happens? They respond by just wrapping around, trapping them, clutching up in a 2v3 because they know if TJ pushes up and gets that first blood, they know the rest of the squad is going to be there. That is just them reviewing VOD, making a heads-up play, something they weren't doing yesterday. But I'm confident in this Minnesota team, how good they've been at search and destroy. I knew it was an uncharacteristic loss to the LA Thieves and that they would respond accordingly today. Exactly what we saw on that stage.
It's all about the bounce back, baby. But speaking of which, we have a Scump play the game, which is the last rotation in Hardpoint. Minnesota's rocking it. S&D respawns like they're doing it.
Was insane.
Tell us about it, baby.
Like so on this rotation here, well, prior to what you're seeing right now, Capsidal made a crazy play. He rotated all the way over towards tower, gives him the spawns in the back. It's just a frenzy back and forth. And then on this rotation, if Standy loses that gunfight to Nero, I think Boston Breach run away with it. Nero had to jump on him, but Standy with the snap, man, wins the Gunnion. I mean, this is just pure chaos in its finest. Pandemonium. The comms had to be ridiculous in the final moments.
Thank God Standy got back on the hill, right? We saw him almost make that play again when he ran out. He literally, we can see it in the camera, he stopped and he was like, wait, I have to get back in. And he whips back around on P2 to get back into that contest, just lays down. He's like, I'm not making this mistake again.
I gotta say though, like if Capsidal didn't have such a slow start on that map, they might have been able to go up. I mean, it's tough, man. Like he's just playing by himself at times. Bocage is a little bit mixy over map. He's used to going out there and just being able to slay, but teams have caught up. Teams are so good at Bocage now. We're seeing teams like Atlanta FaZe lose that map. Like the meta is changing, right? Before people were just flying at the hill. Now rotations are starting to be more of a priority, and you know he's having a rough time, that's for sure.
Major 1, top 6, Major 2, top 4, Major 3, top 12. Let's take a look at the bracket right now to see how things have been voted as we have one more series on the day. Take a look at that. Elimination round 2. We got Røkkr versus Ultra, OpTic versus London. Yo, Lando, this is so good, man. This is exactly what we wanted.
This is exactly what we wanted. I would say my pick'ems by no means look exactly like this. I would say I've got quite a few things switched around, but man, we have got some grinder of the games still left. I know we have OpTic Ravens to look forward to. One thing that I'm super excited about as well, I know we're not going to have it, but Røkkr versus Ultra. That is going to be the Battle of the North in Toronto.
Let's go.
That's an S&D
and Minnesota travels well. There's quite a few Minnesota fans out here too, man. So I think that's going to be a grinder of a game too, Bell.
All right, Lando, you're not going to be on the desk for this series, right? But we have OpTic Texas, you know, your hometown state, right?
That's true.
Facing off against the Beans and Toast Boys in London Royal Ravens.
Beans and Toast Boys, all right.
Who you rocking with?
I'm going to stick with OpTic Texas, man. I just feel like they're going to be able to walk away with this series. I'm very impressed with the Ravens. I think they are going to be coming through with the fire, but I think OpTic's able to hold them off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Lando himself. Coming up next, we have the last series of the day. OpTic Texas are looking to make this loser bracket run something special, but in their way right now, it's the team from overseas, the London Royal Ravens. Let's find out if London can prove themselves as a better team on the other side of this break. See you soon.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenni. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenni.com/CDL.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we made it all the way to the end of day 2. And shout out to the audience right now. We see you on the floor. Toronto Ultra Major 3 has been spectacular so far. We just saw the Boston Breach get swept, and teams are going home. But for this series right here, it is yet another elimination match. We have the London Royal Ravens playing against OpTic Texas in an old school esports NA versus EU battle. And we have Chance on the desk. Chance, you have OpTic hitting that main stage once again, 1-1 this event.
And I'll tell you, man, like they had the perfect bounce back after their performance last night. And I suppose the exact same thing can be said for London, but it's certainly the way these teams have stacked up. OpTic, without question, in my mind, have the edge. That means London, all 4 players, need to be at their Sunday best.
Yes, Nameless, look at this roster, man. All the talk about Prolute, let's throw that out the window. We had a good game last series. But heading up against the London Royal Ravens now, we're talking about a squad that has good teamwork. But the question is, how do you think OpTic matches up against London, or the other way around?
I think that this is like the unwinnable for the London Royal Ravens.
There we go.
I mean, this is a team that has not been able to win Control, going up against the best Control team in the game. That Berlin Control was masterclass out of these guys. I mean, when you look at this roster, you have Dashy who can just take over games. You have Shotzzy who takes over games. But it's been Scump time and time again in the pivotal moments of these series who's been popping off. Like, for OpTic Texas, this should be business as usual against the London Royal Ravens. Their key is basically when Afro pops off and he is the playmaker. When he's in front, he's able to win them games. He's not going to be able to do that against OpTic Texas. So for the game field keys to victory, what does OpTic have to do, Allie?
Well, they have to get back to hardpoint success on Tuscan, right? They've lost 5 of the last 7 Tuscans, and that's going to actually be game 4. So that's only if we even get to that point and convert your first bloods on Bocage SD. London beat NYSL 6-5 on Bocage earlier, despite finding 3 first bloods. So it's just about converting that man advantage. And review what went wrong in the Tuscan Control yesterday. They lost 3-1 to Florida, 12-3 on the season. Losing a Control is not usually in the likes of OpTic Texas, so I have no doubt that they can sign that one under their belt in this series.
I bet you they can find out what went wrong on that Tuscan.
Yeah.
It was Skies and Awakening.
Right now, they're going to be facing off against the London Royal Ravens. Now, I have to say it, Chance, I really like seeing Nasty pop off like that. Why can't he do that on a consistent basis, man?
Well, I mean, I'd say the main factor is like when they lost Gizmo early on, Harry sliding in hasn't been quite like as dominant as a Slayer as Gizmo was.
True.
You lose a little pressure on one side of the map, it makes everybody's job just a little bit more difficult. So, I mean, hey, these guys can do it again. When they're at their best, they can absolutely fry. The only problem is we've seen that like twice in the past 3 or like 2-3-ish months. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to count them out. I'm not trying to predict anything that happens, but make no mistake, if they're not at 100, they're not going to win this series.
And when it comes to the game field keys to victory, Nameless laying on this, man.
Afro needs to continue being a playmaker on the map. 1.17 KD versus NYSL. Rarely will we put that much pressure on a single player, but there is a lot of pressure on him. He is the playmaker. He has to be first in. They had so many players that were bottom in engagements. That changed in their series. They found success. Built up hard points success from last series. They beat New York in both hard points. They lost 11 of 12 prior to LAN. Win the Gavutu hardpoint breakoff being on the favorable side. Teams who outscore opponent on the first hill, Gavutu wins 71% of the time. So take advantage of that if you have the good side when it comes to Gavutu.
All right, baby, it's time for the pick'ems presented by none other than Zenni Blue Blocker. Shout out to them as well. You can get your own at Zenni.com. Nameless, starting with you, man. Are you rocking with the overseas guys in the London Royal Ravens or the home country team, OpTic Texas?
Well, I mean, we are in Canada, so it's not really the home country, but I'm going to go with OpTic Texas. I think they're going to win this in a 3-0 fashion.
Home region. There we go.
Home continent, there
Allie,
you go.
who you got?
If I'm going to go the safe bet, obviously I'd pick OpTic Texas, but I feel like going a little bit rogue today after what I saw from London, so I believe the Ravens are going to do it.
Okay. Okay. I like it, Allie. I like it. Chance.
OpTic.
OpTic?
No problem.
Hey, you know, I throw on the OpTic Zennies right now, and I'm seeing the future, man, and it's going to be an OpTic win. I love London, but this is going to be a 3-0. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get the last matchup of the day going, okay? It's going to be the London Royal Ravens versus OpTic Texas. Let's get it going.
Players in every single corner of the map right now. Dude, London is Afro.
legion of players here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time.
Scump, he finds 2 on the point, flushes him out. Now for Texas, a few players on the run, but Shotzzy, it feels like he cannot miss. He cannot miss. Lead, not able to get away. To 1 versus 1 we go. Dashy coming through with the pistol. That's going to be nearly the first. Pulls off the pistol and gets it done after a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another game here on the main stage. It is the last, but it is not the least. Friday's been fun, but one more time we get 2 teams on our main stage. One of them has been upset this tournament, the other has caused one. We'll find out who goes further in this one. The Wall and the Tower are about to go to war. Let's get it started. First up onto the stage, the Green Wall, OpTic Texas! Scump, Shotzzy, Prolute, and Dashy.
These guys made a statement in their last match, winning in 3-0 fashion. Scump has been taking over games in Search and Destroy, trying to make a case to be the best Search and Destroy player here at Major 3. These guys are trying to make a historic run in the losers bracket. It started with LAG, and their next victim is the London Royal Ravens. We're about to find out if they can make that run. Bryce, let's bring out the next team.
Well, OpTic has sat against them, a team that still has an awful lot to prove. The Jubilee is on, but will that give them a good look? Welcome to the stage, the London Royal Ravens! Zero, Nasty, Afro, and Harry.
Mixed emotions from the crowd, and I don't know why, because I absolutely love him. Yeah, Harry's sitting in for the team outside of Gizmo being sent back, but you know what? I feel like when Afro was playing the way that he was earlier on, this London team is actually a problem. But I'm going to tell you right now, keep your eyes on that boy Nasty. That redhead right there gets absolutely filthy in the lobby. If he catches on fire, I really hope that this London team can stop the likes of a player like Shotzzy. Bryce, let's get this last game going.
Oh, we'll get it going indeed. The odds may be stacked one way or the other, according to our analysts. But only on land do we find out the truth. Over to Mack and Maven.
Thank you so much, Brycey. Ready to get rolling. And, you know, they mentioned Afro in this on one side. Yeah. He's got to be an absolute monster. He's got to wreak havoc in this matchup somehow, some way.
No, he does. And I mean, you know, Nasty has looked a lot better on land. I feel like every time we watch them, you know, Major 1, they got top 4. You know, Major 2, they probably wanted to be a little bit better. But listen, this team, they have what it takes to beat whoever, you know, whoever is in front of them. It's just going to take a lot from every single person. You talk about Afro, right, because the sub duo, but then the other side, what we just saw Dashy do against the Guerrillas just a little bit earlier today, the ARs of London have to be on point as well, but this is why this OpTic team is just so scary.
100%. We've casted both OpTic series so far this weekend. You know, we saw the bad in the loss to Mutineers. You saw them bounce back in the most recent series and what they can do against LAG. Getting a lot of eyes on them this weekend, just kind of overall thoughts and feelings.
For what, OpTic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what it is with Florida, but obviously that matchup just doesn't seem to go their way. I don't know, you know, if it's just awakening in skies, but, you know, the confidence that they have in that series, it feels like they make them play at a very panicked level. But you wanted to see a good bounce back against our Major 2 champions, and that's what we saw. They looked comfortable in every single game mode. And, well, you know, we saw a lot of Tuscan. And we're going to see a lot of Tuscan on the back half of that series, but starting with Yavoo 2, Bocage, Search and Destroy. We saw that Bocage earlier for London. You know, they were not getting a lot of the first bloods, but they still won that in a round 11 fashion.
Well, you saw the big stat really for London. I mean, they lost, what, like 11 or 12 hard points or whatever it was coming into this. You know, they were able to take 2 in the last series. Can they get off on the right foot here in game 1, or will Scump and OpTic be simply too strong? The crowd will be behind them. You know they're going to be roaring. We'll see if they can bring it, but yeah, Dashy, Even though he had 0 kills in the search and destroy, so puts up a 1.6. In the map 1 we go, ladies and gentlemen. Toronto, let's have us some fun. Dancing on the map like Shotzzy up Scump. Well, popcorn, nade. Take 2 out to kick this off.
Oh, he finds number 3. Zero does get behind enemy lines, though. Zero, they don't know where he is quite yet. He's just trying to find Prolute. Prolute able to dodge that. So Zero, you thought he was going to be able to make the play. Not able to do so, but buys time for Harry, Nasty, and Afro to all find kills. With Dashy, the last man standing. Behind 3 kills for Scump. They hit 17 points, but a nice bounce back here for London.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you get back into the swing of things pretty quickly, considering that nice opening from OpTic. Now, what can Afro do? He has been an absolute terror with the MP40 in his hand. The timing, positionings, the instinct, it has all been on point for him. And he's going to need a monumental effort. But with 5 seconds left on the hard point, let's start to focus on both sides. Harry's POV, and he's taking off shins.
And you play a map like Ubuntu, a lot of autos. So kind of what we talked about, having Afro have to have an insane series, it kind of takes it out of that a little bit. Obviously, you want him to pop off within the MP40. It's just tough to do on this map, right? You can get caught in the blender with the positions of the auto, so you kind of look at everybody else, and this slows down maybe the pace of what OpTic is used to. They've been great on Ubuntu all year long, but for London, maybe that's part of the strategy.
Well, let's see if they continue to hold. Prolute just trying to look for any crack in this armor, and he finds an opening. Shotzzy there as well. The push up top. Can't quite get the tracking on point and take down the kill, but it'll be Dashy into the hard point now as the contest will come in. Just trying to chip away at this early advantage from London Royal Ravens, and Afro with the slide cancel around the corner. A little funny hop there as well, but Scump, the pistol, up to the task.
Yeah, and over on rotation, there's Nasty, and that's what he's been so good at. I mean, he's just always in the right position. It feels like he knows where he needs to be on the map. Well, he's gonna get set up here at P3. Is OpTic the furthest player forward? It's looking like Dashy working towards lower beach side. I don't know if he was spotted. You have Zero inside a ring. The rest of OpTic kind of working through the flank. It's a very slow push. It starts though. Harry's able to find one. Shotzzy with another one. But Zero inside a ring, just kind of lurking, looking over his teammates.
The nades though, able to hit. Shotzi's able to take him out. Zero though, still from ringside, like you said. Just trying to hold this key position on the map. He gets about 12 wall banks, but eventually the flank will come through. Now a little song and dance from Afro. The help over the top from Nasty, but the nades from OpTic continue to hit, trailing by 16. That time it's a flash.
Well, I mean, what a play by Shotzzy. He hits the nade, he's able to get inside of that boat, and then, I mean, takes 15 seconds away from London. Now, if you're OpTic, you get set up for P4. Control ring the way that they are. Not allow London to get this time. They're even finding scrap time. That's 3 dead. There is 1 player, nice and Nasty, but a big one-on-one win by Prolute.
And that's what you want the guy to do. Coming in when gunfights like that. A key one to get them set up early in this hard point. He gets ready to pop. OpTic now down 5. And we're on Dashy's POV because he's lurking mid-map, just trying to stagger this push, slow it down, get whatever picks he can or information, but he'll drop, should spawn safe, but now the pressure mounting here from Royal Ravens, they look to get in jump.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to try to put pressure on front.
Okay.
Zero able to line them up. That's going to open things up. Can you get Afro on the hill with that MP40? That's when he can make plays. Harry trying to go on the flank, able to snap on to 1, finds the second. But still, you have a lot of OpTic presence here, and I mean, they just can't get to the point, right? Usually you see a contest, and then you're hoping to set up that spawn trap going from P4 to P5. So far, though, OpTic holding on.
Yeah, I mean, at most, they've been able to get a chain of like 2 kills. It just haven't been able to find that 3rd or 4th, get any kind of like finale. Okay, as I'm saying it, there comes the push on through. So they get the final 15 or so seconds.
Prolute gets through, and he gets his team to spawn on him. His entire team spawns both sides. The squad spawns come in. We saw it earlier today. It happens once again.
And this could be a huge moment for OpTic. There's still 1 person here in Nasty, though, playing around tower. But they'll have early control at this point. They'll now try to build upon this lead. What a great chance it is to bring together 4th and 5th. Nasty, he's still alive in this position. Keeps winning gunfights, just needs the team to get there in support. He continues to surge on forward. Now 4 in a row for Nasty. Trying to bring the action to the objective, and Nasty takes another one down, 5 in a row.
Well, his teammates, they just spawn across the map, right? So they have to work all the way through. All that work done for Nasty, and well, it does not turn into much. His teammates could not find kills, and they were getting cut off middle of the map as Dashy was able to find multiple both side. And OpTic, I mean, yeah, with that sneak route from Prolute, it was looking like London was finally going to be able to hold a setup, a spawn trap in that we've seen so many times, but it does not happen. As Dashy course, 12-7, +5, and now you can see in the scoreboard what they were able to do off those 2 hills as he is snapping, as he is going, not able to find Nasty. But still, Dashy looking good.
Like Nasty's feeling himself a bit probably after that 5 spree, even though it didn't lead to any objective
please.
Yeah, in that situation, it's like, boys, come on, get to me. But they just couldn't. They were getting cut down. Trying to get into position. We now get into our second set of rotations. Back to ring we go. Shotzzy. Nice little dance with the pistol over the top. Some lovely shots as Shotzzy heating up, so is the crowd. That's 4 in a row. 43-point lead to elicit in we go with OpTic Texas.
Get over Sips. I have a close ramp.
Yo, I needed their side. I need you to get set. Outer one shot. That's it. I'm rolling. Team left Røkkr. Already here, team left Røkkr. There's a 3 row right here. Everyone row. There's a 3 row right here. One more on the whole train. Low clip as well.